Why, hello there. Fancy seeing you here. By seeing, I mean reading words you write, and/or emotes you put, and/or peaches you fart. How are we all doing?
Hey, you. You're finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right? Walked right into that Imperial ambush, same as us, and that thief over there.
No, I don't think I was. Hi. How we doing? Music on. A little louder. It was well read. Hazel did a great job. Definitely had the right inflections and everything. Pretty good. That's pretty good. It is Wednesday, as far as I'm aware. Poison ivy spread a bit. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Stop it. Hit it with a fly swatter. Tell it no.
The doors are tightly sealed. I won't be able to open them.
Oh, that's a shame. We'll just have to stay on this screen all for the next 2 hours. Hello, Lewis, and the Miss, and the Jib. Many friends. You don't have the Skyrim script up for any particular reason. Okay. But otherwise, okay. Yeah, it's pretty... Otherwise is doing a lot of work in that sentence. Hello! How are we all? Our friends good. I'm getting stuff ready. Don't worry about me. I'm professional. Swoosh. Here is blue. How have I been in the last 3 hours? Fed. I've been fed. Which is nice. Did I feed Kiki? I did not. But I believe she was. So not been to the Cloud District. No, I have not been to the Cloud District. Same! See? Ah! Twinsies. Let me know if anything's happening weird happening with my microphone. We had a little bit of a Remnant 2 session earlier, and apparently me playing the ukulele really, really quietly comes out as being really, really loud in Discord. And I don't know if that's to do with my microphone and my preamp and all that, or whether it's Discord. I don't know. So let me know if anything funky's happening. Kiki hadn't been fed, you wouldn't be here now. Exactly. I would be feeding her. Seems fine at the moment. Hooray! Ah! Not fine. Panic. Skip panic. We're not at that stage yet. We'll listen to this in the intro. I'll do. Think it was Discord, yeah. Discord's weird. Plays Funky Town. What you take me to? Funky Town. No panic. All panic. All. Speaking of panic, last time... Was there panic last time? I don't know. Anyway, last time on the Finalfers and Night general overview, a thief, a princess, a black mage, and a quimch travel to a continent to try and ascertain the origins of a mysterious Mr. Swan who is dealing magical weapons to warmongers on the continent that we come from. Our first port of call on this new magical continent that nobody's been to for hundreds of years was the land of the dwarves, who speak in very authentic Scottish accents, who are generally very, very friendly, particularly the little Vivi down here, little Vivi friend. They're very nice, being very hospitable. Less so to Quimch, who's just trying to get some food and doesn't realise you have to pay for it.
Arkai the new.
Honestly, that was much more accurate than I thought that was gonna be. Hi, Oobs! Condapiti, that's the name of the place. And it's built on a couple of tree roots that go over a chasm leading to the other side of this continent. And it's the only way through, as far as we can tell. And they don't let us through because only some very specific people can pass. Hazel, since when? Hazel's Scottish, didn't you know? Can you not tell by the accent? How you doing, Nibs? You alright? Oh, I forgot to do my joke. I was going to start the stream by saying, hi and welcome to the Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy Drawthrough. But that, I think that'd be cool. Hazel's secretly been Scottish the whole time. You refused. Well, why didn't you didn't like it? It gave us an hour or so of Katamari, so it can't be that bad. Song's getting a little, tiny little bit too loud. Isn't Hazel technically Welsh? Is she? Or did you make that up? Is she an elf? What are some good Welsh words? What are some good words that you can test an accent to see if they're Welsh? Because I'm very bad at recognizing Welsh accents. She could be Welsh. I have no issues with Hazel being Welsh. Why not? I need to re-record the intro to this song. It's horrifically out of tune. Where's Lewis? Lewis is here. Although speaking in Spanish. Got stuck on his trip. The plane landed in Spain as a flyover.
Lan fair pulgwin gil godja iquian drobble and tizilai ogagargok.
Yeah, that went great. That's a fun one. She tried. Oh, she might just not live there, you know? She sure did something, yes.
Croesco.
Croesco. My favourite convenience store. She is not Welsh. Oh dear. Is this a shibboleth? Shibboleth I should know of. Your favourite Disney villain. Oh yeah, we were doing a recap. So yes, we went to the land of the Scottish dwarves, and they told us that we can't go through because we're not sacred people or newlyweds. However, while we were there, we spotted some other black mages who were just wandering around and buying groceries, and Vivi's like, where are they? And then they run off. We find them in the forest. What's this layer? Is there anything on this layer? There is nothing on this layer. Let me delete it. We follow them into the forest where we discover that they actually have a whole village of black mages just living peacefully in the forest somewhere. Turns out that these are black mages who were made by Alexandria, by the Queen Helga. Not personally, obviously, but for the purposes of war, but just one day in the middle of fighting or whatever, just woke up and gained consciousness and went, oh god, I don't like this, run! And they ran away to another continent somehow. Don't ask questions. Cresco de Ville. Cresco de Ville. Yeah, so they're all here, and Vivi's like, oh my god, they're actually talking to me, and they're nice, and they're good, and they're not trying to kill people. Oh, this is a happy day. And then they teach Vivi about death, because it turns out that about 1 year after manufacture, they stop. They just cease to be. Oh, the question mark at the end. The question mark at the end broke it. It has to end in .gif. Bloody question marks. If ever you have a URL that doesn't feel like it needs any personalization, it's got a question mark in it, just delete everything after the question mark. And the question mark. whole thing. So yeah, and they teach Vivi that, yeah, this is the thing. A lot of them stop. Just stop. And they get buried, and they have a lovely little graveyard area where they sort of tend to the dead, as it were. Why did it auto-add more stuff? I don't know. And Vivi does a bit of thinking about this, which may involve a bit of crying, but mostly thinking. I mean, I could just click on it and show it on the stream, I suppose. Ooh. Look at him spin. It's doing a spin. Spin. Yes. So that happens. Meanwhile, Simeon shares a story of a child that absolutely has nothing to do with him, trust me. About a child who never knew their true home and only has dreams about a blue light, but has an adoptive family, and one day was like, I'm gonna go traveling and I'm gonna run away from this family and try and find my original home. And after a year of searching, they don't find it, because if you only have a blue light in mind, that's not really very helpful. And then it comes back to his house, and he is welcomed back by being thrashed. And that's how he knew he was home. Question mark? The 90s were weird. His point being that family is found, I guess, but they also hit you. I don't know what his point is really, but he shares this story. He shares a few stories, none of which really make sense. We might get to one today. Anyway, it is discovered that we actually, we need to get beyond Kondapiti, because the Black Mages have seen Mr. Swan flying over in that direction on his big old iridescent dragon. So it's like, okay, well, we need to get there. How do we get there? Well, only sacred people can get past. That's not great. Or newlyweds. Let's get married. So Simeon and Butterknife get married. It's not particularly legally binding. This is just a random village of dwarves. It's fine. You don't understand. They hit him because they love him. Exactly. Huh? On his big iridescent goose. They will be the next time I draw it. So yeah, we do that, and also Quimch and Vivi get married. I believe this is actually optional, but why wouldn't you? And they have a lovely time. It's a lovely ceremony. It's not awkward at all. Anyway, so they go to leave, but it turns out, oh my god, there's a ruckus by the exit, because some people have stolen some things. Some vegetables have been stolen. And, thieves! But the people can't chase after them because they're not sacred or newlyweds. And we're like, well, we can. Bye! And after chasing them, we discover that one of them is a 6-year-old? Called Betty, apparently. I don't know why I did that many swishes. Yes, a 6-year-old called Betty with a horn and fake wings. And also fake ears, although I haven't drawn them here. Let's add those. Okay. She's 6. This is why she's so annoying. Anyway, it transpires that she comes from a village nearby, and once we have convinced Quimch not to eat her, to which Quimch goes, "Oh, fine then, I'll go find my own food," and runs off. Fake animal, fake little wings, fake animal ears. The horn's real, but the rest of it's not. Why is a 6-year-old in life or death fights? Because we go back to the village. No, we fight a giant. Then we go back to the village, where it transpires that she has been living with Muggles. Because everybody else at this village died 10 years ago. Not everybody else, I believe. She was brought up by her grandfather, so at least one person survived. And she's 6 years old, so if everyone died 10 years ago, but she was brought up by her grandfather and she's now 6. There's slight time issues there. Was that Beth? It looked a bit like Beth, didn't it? Big buff Beth. Why not? Why not? It's Beth's giant cousin. Morph. Maybe 6 months to a year old now, physically anyway. Yes. Had Beth on the brain last week. Okay. All Beth's orc anger coming out. Yeah, all of the times she was sidelined in orc conversation. That was building up inside her. Yeah, so we are introduced to the gang, the little gaggle of Moogles that she lives with, including her best friend and confidant, and also twin. They were born at the same time. Pistachio. There's a little Moogle called Pistachio. I think the rest of them were called like Acorn and Almond and whatever. Also Long Moogle. Don't forget Long Moogle. I think that might have been Almond. Anyway. So yeah, we come here to this strange place. Did we ever say what it's called? I can't remember what it's called. What's it called? The ruins of so-and-so. Long Moogle is almond. Good to know. Pistachio is very fluffy, but is also a coward, because that was the second thief. Betty, was it Betty? Betty was out with Pistachio. And Madain Sari, that's what it's called. Yeah, Betty was out with Pistachio stealing food, because she's 6 years old, she can't exactly grow crops. And Pistachio ran away as soon as we arrived, because Pistachio is a coward who runs away. And there's an incredibly deep and rumbling voice. Pistachio. Pistachio. No. I think they sound like every other Moogle in the game. Anywho, what else do we do here? We cook. In order to try... so, another thing about Betty is that she is rather smitten with... maybe a deep Moogle voice would be like... well, they want you to think he is. So, yeah, the other thing with Betty is that she's become rather smitten with Simeon. And is constantly trying to impress him. And one way she attempts to impress him is by cooking a big old meal. However, she forgot Quimch and didn't make enough food. And Quimch is like, always make enough food, more food than you need. People might be really hungry, and also people might turn up uninvited, like me. And so Quimch comes in and helps with the meal. I don't know what Pistachio is doing down here, but they're pleasing. We didn't forget. Yes, we did. We did not forget Quimch. And by we, I mean cheap. Girl, you can do infinitely better. Yeah, what? She's 6. She has a little crush. And Simeon is already exhausted at her crushings. And yeah, then we have a dinner and we talk about how like everybody's dead. There was a big old disaster, bad times. Yeah. Don't let your first crush be him. She's 6 years old. She's probably going to forget about this by the time she's 10. Anyway. We continue with the story. Looks like Quimch is summoning food. Haha! Speaking of summoning, one of the things about this place, or I guess more importantly, or more specifically about Betty, is that Betty can summon monsters, much like the way Butterknife can. And I guess now also Queen Helga. We don't talk about that. Yeah, but it's Final Fantasy IX, I've got to admit words like slut again. Or permit, rather. Simeon got a bit of a wake-up call on what he's been putting the princess through. Does he change? No. You're very welcome. Sorry, I've been trying to finish a drink, which was not very nice, but it's there. So that was already permitted. Yes, but capital H, he's a slut, full stop. That wasn't. Oh no, hang on, the full stop was part of the thing. Also, we clicked it at the same time. Kind of fun. Must permit all versions. Yep, we're going to allow it in quotation marks as well. Thank you, AutoMod. It's fine, don't worry about it. You refuse to work, that's fair. There is something else, however, in this place, which is rather of interest. We're not allowed to go there initially because the Moogles are like, this is important, don't come here. But in a continued effort to impress Simeon, Betty decides to relent and go, yeah, we'll show them this is cool. And then they go to the top of the village, top of the hill, to a big old ruin, like everything else, frankly. To a big circular building, and on the walls of the circular building are a bunch of paintings. And they are sort of stylized paintings of monsters, creatures. And it turns out this is the what's it called? The Wall of Eidolons. Eidolons being the names of things, the big old monsters that get summoned. So, remember, Odin blew up the tree, and Atomos swallowed Lindblom. They are Eidolons. They are the things that are summoned. The things that were extracted from Princess Butterknife on her 16th birthday. Oh, speaking of 16, actually, just incidentally, Eidolons. Idle us. But yeah, so there's a bunch of pictures of them. Let's draw Atomos because I like that one. Might have drawn a Golbat. And then there's other ones as well. There's like we met Ramu actually, didn't we? Anyway, it turns out, I'm guessing the usual suspects: Ifrit, Shiva, Bahamut. Yep, they're all there. So Ifrit, big old fire goat thing, goat demon. Shiva, oddly, scantily clad ice queen. And Bahamut, big old dragon. Usually has horns, doesn't it? There's Ifrit. There's Shiva. Golbat's an idol. Yeah, absolutely. Is Ifrit hot in this one? More animalistic, I believe. Hang on, let's look it up. I remember thinking it felt quite different, but... Yeah, here's the concept art. If it wants to open. There we go. So not what I'd call hot. Chiseled muscles? No, definitely chiseled muscles. They have a, what appears to be a 12-pack. And also triple layered pecs. It was a special offer on muscles. So yeah, not quite FF9 or 10 or anything like that, but sorry, FF8. In fact, actually, if you search for FF9 Ifrit, the FF8 one comes up. Say what you like about Final Fantasy VIII. Had some fun monster design. Put a pair of jeans on them, give them a gun, and you got yourself a Digimon. That is scarily accurate. That's way hotter, yeah. What's the FF10 one? I remember liking the FF10 one. I'm find a good picture. This is the best I can get, really. In game. 16,000 health. Healthy boy. Anyway. More dogs than goats, really, aren't they? Ifrit 16's fun too, but don't look it up, spoilers. Shan't do. I mean, I don't mind spoilers for that. I'm probably not going to play it. 12's Ifrit's the hottest by far. 12 summons, we looked these up before. They look weird. Anyway. So yes, we go to the Wall of Eidolons. And we look around. And we're like, Betty explains, you know, people would come here and worship and all that sort of stuff and pray to the Eidolons, because we were a tribe of people who could summon. That was the whole deal. This was a big old tribe of summoners. Every amp gives him 1,000 health. And yeah, so the Princess Butterknife, is a bit like, This is a whole place of summoners is now, isn't it? Still wearing her little Moogle hoodie. Because she can summon things, she doesn't really know anyone else who can. And she's like, hey, can I have a bit of time to think? Just stay here for a bit. And everyone else is like, yeah, sure, why not? In the meantime, there's a little conversation between Vivi and Simeon. Vivi's like basically worrying too much, and but he's worrying. He's worrying about a lot of things, and Simeon comes along. That was a funky little friend. Who's that? They have like anti-shoulder pads. Anyway. So yes, Simeon and Vivi have a little conversation, and Vivi's like, oh, I'm worrying about all these things, and Simeon's like, well, my you know, I've told you before, you know, don't worry about these things, just try and get them out of your mind. And Vivi's like, that's not working. And Simeon's like, that's cool. Everyone reacts differently to these things. I have no additional advice. Except implied pissing? I don't know, that's a weird scene. Well, it's not a scene, it happens off screen. But anyway. Bear, it's Elmo. This is Elmo's final form. Changed since last you watched Sesame Street, yeah, exactly. They're often FF12 Revenant Wings. But also, while this is all happening, Betty tells us that nearby there's a big old tree. And it's a tree that's very important to the summoning people, called the FFIX Tree, which is spelt like this. Which confused a lot of people when they were younger. Because it looks like Lifa. But it isn't, it's Ifa. This is Elmo now, feel old yet? Yeah, you'd learn your ABCs quickly, wouldn't you? You'd learn to share. You will learn to share. Fonts! This is why they're important, exactly. So yeah, see, the way Kiro's typed it. So yeah, there's the FFIX Tree, and it's a big old tree. It's not the first big old tree we found, but there's a big old tree, and it's important that it's been sealed by the summoners. And it was sealed with using an Eidolon to seal an Eidolon. There's a whole thing. And so that we can't get in there without her. But she doesn't really want to leave the village because, I mean, she'll leave to snatch food, but not like go on a quest or anything like that. She was told by her grandfather, you don't leave till you're 16, because when you're 16, you get to choose your Eidolon, your special bond Eidolon. And then you can go off and have adventures and stuff. But until then, stay in the village. Yes, FFIX Tree or FFIX Tree, or FFIX Tree or FFIX Tree. Depends which one's which. They are the same. Management would like you to find the differences between these two names. So anyway, we stay overnight. Butterknife does some thinking. Everyone does some thinking, probably except Simeon. Everyone except Simeon does some thinking. The first one was with... Thanks, Jib. Halfway through that before I realised what you did. Oh, I can actually see on my bolt which is which, so that's fun. They are different. Jib's legit. I have a font on here that I can tell the difference. Here. This is my bolt, by the way. It's very fancy. Ill. Or two. Or starting the bar. Or. 3. Yes, anyway. So, we wake up the next morning and we go, okay, we're going to go and see what's going on with this tree. And Betty's like, I'll come with you. And we're like, well, I thought you were going to stay here because the thing is like, oh, no, I'm going to come with you. Why not? What could possibly go wrong? So we all go on an adventure to the tree. Hooray, exciting times. Because apparently it might be a thing that is important. I don't know if anybody explicitly mentions Mr. Swan involved in this, but it's better than nothing. Because we're here to find Mr. Swan. Or we're here to try and find where he came from or what he's doing. But anyway, yes, so we go.
Just give me a good smack from the rear with something nice and big.
I'd rather not. Thanks, Jim. Where did he come from? I think we've heard all of the Elden Ring ones now. I think that was the last outstanding one.
Alexander is very saucy out of context.
I had to record that one while I was there, sure. You know, necessary. I've drawn a cauliflower. So anyway, we come up against this thing. Why did I draw a cauliflower? Cauliflower? Since that is safe to look up FF16 if here it is. Huh. What a lovely draw, what a lovely screenshot that is. Joy. I am enlightened. This game looks weirder than I thought. It's the Caulifaur Tree. Tree. That's not how it looks on Google. No, keep that there. Keep it there. It's fun. Bloomcool. I know how to pronounce things. Funnily enough, they have told me that. Still not sunny. Or lettuce, actually. No cauliflower, not lettuce. Anyway, so it's this huge far-off tree, which I've not particularly well demonstrated. So here's the horizon line. And there's a couple of things to note about this thing. The first is that it has this incredibly dense network of roots going over this sort of huge chasm that it's in. And the roots are absolutely bloody enormous. And they're all intertwined and intertangled and all this sort of mess. You are here. Big tree. Real big tree. But the other thing to notice is that it's kind of misty. Which is unusual, because the continent that we came from, which is called the Mist Continent, pretty darn misty. There's mist everywhere. All the machines run on mist. It's a big thing. Here, however, this continent, bugger all. Bright sunshine, clear skies, everything's great. Sla. That is sla. Hmm? What's the plural? Slan? Might use that for Wordle tomorrow. It's very important to tell me. I need to know these things. In the same way that I need to know how many volcanoes there are in the Netherlands. El plural is also sla. Oh, that's annoying. That's not a Wordle word. Give me a vegetable that's 5 letters long. I can't think of one. Ow, Vortal. Sorry, A. A? My nemesis. I've got to do today's Wordle. I remember today's Wordle going, oh. And I won't say anything more. Getting closer. A? Something like that. Yeah, I can't think of a 5-letter one. I've just got Vortal stuck in my head. Usually do them at midnight or so, but actually got some sleep last night. Sleep! Hooray! Speaking of sleep, mist. I don't know how all that's got to do with sleep, but it's a segue. So yeah, there's all these sort of roots going around and twisting up around the trunk and all that sort of stuff, but it's also very, very misty. Well, not very misty, but pretty darn misty around here. And there's a couple of things to note about this. Firstly, mist. Secondly, tree roots. Now, I did mention it a while ago, but honestly, it's been so long that even I've forgotten. Why is 5 letters so difficult? It's something about Dutch. I've tried to sit down and think about any words that I know in Dutch that are 5 letters long, and they're all short plurals, and that's it. They all end in en. So when it's not en, I'm screwed. Also beat your first broken streak on Wordle yesterday. You're now on your longest streak so far. Hooray! Good job. Boner, plural of bone, beans. right? Could do that. It's a repeated end, but could do it. See, it's a plural, isn't it? Bloody plural. Beans! Forgot about that one. They did teach me that. Got replaced with volcano. Anyway, yes, sorry. Tree roots. Because these big old tree roots, they're sort of... Some of them are sort of digging into the ground, and then they're popping back up, and mist swirling around them, and then more going into the ground, and it just sort of propagates out. And you may notice, although you may not, although it's not particularly spoilers, because we'll get to talking about this in a second. Did you have to look that up? Also, Bosau? 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 Yeah, I understand that. Oh, forest onion, that makes sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense because I don't know what a forest onion is, but I as words, it makes sense. The issue was pronouncing the UI, which you know I'm really good at. Tree roots. Tree roots are bloody everywhere, including the Mist Continent. There are just random huge tree roots sticking out of the ground all over the Mist Continent. And I did draw them, probably on the first bloody stream or something. Yeah, so when I was talking about us being in the big old circular thing, big old... What's the word? Valley. I'm so good, I know. It's almost as good as my Scottish accent. I'd mentioned that there are a bunch of tree roots just sort of sticking out of the ground. They're everywhere. And they look very similar to the tree roots coming out of this tree. The Caulifaur Tree. So we investigate. We go up to investigate. And it turns out it is sealed. There's a magical seal. And Simeon, in his wisdom, just body slams right into it to see whether or not he can get through. Doesn't work. This puzzle dictionary is horrible for Vordel because it counts IJ as one letter. Yeah, that's an issue. Bina is also another one that I like to use as something that doesn't end in EN and has the IJ in it. You know, to Vordel, INJ, that's a separate thing. It's QWERTY keyboard rules. Yes. So there's a big old mystical barrier stopping the thing. Let me just draw. It's an invisible barrier because it's PlayStation 1 and it saves on rendering. Get up, frickin' frick. You're not in the story anymore. You got fired. We will never see you again, I'm sure. This is why these streams have music. And it just sort of does a magical ripple. Got Waddle in 4! Nice. Your record-breaking streak continues. Oh god, it's 7:50. We haven't done anything. So yeah, that happens. However, little Betty's here. She will help us by destroying the barrier or removing the barrier, which is being sealed in place with an eidolon, which she knows how to do because she's 6 years old and has the confidence of a 6-year-old. So she jumps around and she calls out some magical words. Oh, spirits of beyond, lend us your enormous magical power. And she does a little dance. By launching Slut into the wall hard. Yeah, no, that's part of the dance. And the whole barrier ripples and shakes and wibbles and wobbles and shoom, collapses in on itself into a small little crystal. Or a small little ruby, I think? It's a gem of some kind. Bling, 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 bling. Which contains the essence of the eidolon that was holding the barrier shut. Magical words are just the lyrics to Baby Shark. They might as well be, because immediately afterwards she admits, oh yeah, I just made that up, it looks fancy. Didn't need to do that, just needed to concentrate. So yeah, it might as well be Baby Shark. I don't know Baby Shark, so someone else is gonna have to sing. Oh yeah, she's got her fake ears and fake wings. And a real horn. It's also a classic thing in Final Fantasy, by the way, that summoners have horns. That's just always been a thing. By always, I mean from Final Fantasy 4 onwards, pretty much. And by onwards, I think probably just 4. Well, Final Fantasy 5, the outfit has it. Maybe 3 as well, I'm not sure. Sombreros are eggs, we know this. What is there to be confused about? Kira, do you remember what's in this one? Fenrir? Where's Butterknife's horn? She doesn't have a horn. She can summon, but she doesn't have a horn. Can confirm they dropped that in 60. I mean, yeah, it's not always been a thing, but Yuna didn't have one. That'd be great if he just became a summoner in FF10 and just suddenly horn. Kimari's got one, but he's not a summoner. Fenrir, yeah. Why are summoners all horny? Who knows? I'm going to mute myself for 1 second, which coincides with my neighbour and his loud engine. That's good. Sorry about that. Hey Viva's back with a vengeance because it doesn't know it's almost September. We'll get to that. Don't worry, it's fine. Oh, look at the little curly brace angry face. I like that. Sorry, another unexpected mute. Right. So we're here. We can now get access to the tree. Linen room. We have access to the innin room. When did we say that? To cows? Yeah. Anyway, so we're running along the roots of this thing to try and get to the actual tree itself. And we're fighting monsters and all that sort of stuff. Because, hey, mist. Mist makes monsters. Minsters. The monsters? And they're weird monsters. They're like tree growths. Anyway, and we get to the thing, and we get in the middle of the tree. And we find this strange platform. Well, not in the middle of the tree, but like underneath the tree. Into the sort of roots that make the stem of the tree, we sort of find this strange platform on the floor, which doesn't look natural. It looks like it's made out of like wood, probably. But it's just sort of embedded in the floor. And we're like, a bit weird. What do you want to do with it? I think that one's Fenrir's gem. Nice. Fenrir. What does Fenrir look like in this game? Oh, it looks weird, doesn't it? It looks like a sand sculpture. Is that what I'm thinking of? Or carbuncle. Oh, it might be carbuncle. Well, they look like an FF9. Oh, they're cute in FF9. Yeah, cute. They protect you from magic. Which makes sense as to why they would be the seal, to stop... Fenrir's another accessory that I think only Betty can equip. Okay, yeah, we'll probably talk about that later. But for now, we have a weird platform. In amongst all these sort of tree roots and stuff. Getting all this from Google, your memory is very bad when it comes to most of the summons in 9. I'd never use the summons in 9. Never need to, really. Is it an elevator? Maybe. Let's test it. How are we going to test it? Very simple. Simeon's going to jump on it. Strange place with horrible monsters, and you find a weird platform in the middle of the floor and you don't know what it does? Jump on it, see what happens. It's weird when I switch his hair up. Speaking of looking weird with hair, I did a comic the other day. Was it yesterday? About the evolution of Mal's hair. Weird drawing a character with different hair. This is not the pose of somebody who's just jumped onto a platform. But hey! We don't have time to do it again, because it's not worth it. Because this is just a small story beat. It really doesn't matter. However, I haven't drawn anything for a bit, and I've talked about a lot of stuff, so I felt like I needed to draw something. We are starting to get to the point where there's just sort of a lot of chat and not a lot of much else, and that's going to be a recurring theme, so I'm probably going to end up just sort of drawing a thing, and while that's happening, talking about the next 30 minutes of gameplay. Will this hay fever never cease? 10-year-old Mal will live in your brain rent free. I thought people would like that face. What happens when you get small children to smile and they don't want to? Who are you and what have you done with Simeon? Anyway, he jumps on the thing. And believe it or not, hey, Jeep. Turns out, it's an elevator. And he goes down into the roots of the tree beneath. And then he comes back up and everybody else hops on and then they go down. It's always an elevator. Exactly. It's an elevator. Yeah, so we go down into the roots, and now we're in sort of like a dark, sort of twisted mangle of roots with these little flowers that glow in the dark so you can see where you're going. And all of the monsters are now different. They're not tree growths anymore. They're like zombies and zombie dragons, a lot of undead things around here. And it's very peculiar, and we get to a sort of big old thing in the middle, which is sort of all spirally. The platform all the way around it, leading down into a big hole. But sticking out of this thing is a huge sort of spiky leaf. And you know what we do with things that we don't know what they do? Do you know? I bet you do. I bet you do know. We jump on it. Fun fact, despite playing through this area numerous times, it was only during your most recent playthrough that you put 2 and 2 together and realized these enemies are zombies, and hey, we have 2 white mages in the party. Can kill all the zombies so easily with healing magic. We'll get to that. So yeah, we hop on this, and what does it do? It's kind of an elevator, but it's an elevator what spins. So this sort of like spiral thing here. It follows that pattern and it sort of spins as it goes down. Sort of down that way. It's spin! And so we're sort of stood on this platform that's spinning. Actually, I'm not even going to bother drawing it because not much happens there. I'm going to talk about what happens while we're on it as I draw something else. So yeah, we're on it and we're talking about it and we're like, what is this place? This is really weird. Why are there leaf lifts and strange wooden elevators in a tree? This all feels very weird indeed, and we get attacked by like swarms of zombies that sort of jump onto the leaf and all that sort of stuff. But Vivi also has a bit of a thought as well. So we're in this tree, whose roots we've seen all over the Mist continent, and which is the only place we've seen mist on this continent at all. Maybe the mist is coming from this thing? Maybe the tree? Or at least like you know, there's a connection. Because nobody really knows where the mist comes from. So what's going on here? You know, this is all very peculiar. And we eventually hop off at the bottom. Some other stuff said, but I've forgotten what it was. There's a whole conversation that happens while the background is spinning as we're flying down this thing. But we hop off at the bottom. And at the bottom, we find a very weird thing. We're sort of looking down into a pit. Very, very deep pit. And at the bottom of the pit is glowing green pool. Very peculiar indeed. But what's even more peculiar is what we're standing on, which appears to be like a giant harp, for want of a better word. There's all these sort of like strings going down and they're glowing along with the glowing liquid. That's not how perspective works. Me, thank you. So yeah, and we're like, this clearly, this isn't natural, right? This cannot be a naturally formed thing. Something's going on here. Something's up. And we look around, and if you go around here, you come down from the stairs from your little leaf lift. Go down here. You look in this corner here. There's a little box. If you go and open the little box, you don't have to, but if you do, you can find inside an elixir. And an elixir in the Final Fantasy games is a way of completely restoring your health and MP, magic points. Which is nice, a lovely little bonus, but you should always be wary when the game gives you healing items because that usually means that something's about to happen. Anyway, so we're sort of talking about this and we're like, what is this? Why is this in this tree? What is this tree? What's it doing? What's this got to do with Swan? Because that's why we're here, right? And we sort of look down at everything, and the princess is like, this place feels strange, like something's beyond just what we're seeing. There's something that feels wrong here. So like we're being watched, or there's something nearby. It don't feel good. And then a big old rumble happens, knocking everybody over, and it's like, oh my god, what was that? Then we go looking for each other, etc., etc. We're all fine, it's fine. But the rumble happens again. Oh my god, what's going on? And we're having a chat about it, and it's all good, and it's all grand. And then the thing turns up that I am not ready to draw yet. In fact, I'll draw it now, and then I'll talk about its conversation as I'm drawing everything else. It's symmetrical, so let's use that to our advantage. No guarantees this looks anything like the thing that it is. So yes, something sort of falls from the ceiling and like clamps onto the side of this place, and big bang, and everyone's like, oh my god, what is this? And then it sort of flops around and talks to us through a weird sort of voice in your head kind of way. Can't remember what this thing looks like. Anyway. And it talks about the tree, and it explains what's going on, but in a very malevolent sort of way. Sort of looking down on us and flopping around and being like, I'm weird. And it explains that it is the guardian of this place. It is the guardian of the Caulifaur Tree, the Caulifaur Tree. And it has been for hundreds and hundreds of years. And, you know, we ask it, like, is it making mist? To which it says, making's not the right word. It's a byproduct, really. But it is coming from here. I was like, okay, well, why are you spreading it around the world through these routes? We assume that's what's happening. And they said, well, that's part of the thing. You see, the mist makes monsters. And I'm giving it a very soft voice. So the mist makes a monster. I don't know how it sounds in your brain. But this is how it sounds in my brain. Does it have, like, foliage here? I'm gonna give it foliage. The mist makes monsters. The monsters make people fight. Making people fight gives them a combative spirit, and a combative spirit causes them to be more likely to fight each other and fight wars and kill each other. And that is presumably good for whatever this thing actually is for, which isn't explained. But it does at least say that. It does at least mention. I'm trying to think what it looks like. I'm gonna give it a design. It's fine. That's kind of fun. So yeah, this sort of thing, it talks about how, like, oh, it's been here for hundreds of years and this thing's creating the mist. It's not necessarily that's the point of it, but it is creating the mist, and the mist is causing people to fight, and causing people to fight makes them more likely to engage in war and kill each other and all that sort of stuff, which is apparently good for the purposes of whatever this thing is trying to do. It then also points out that, hey, I'm in charge of this place, and if you kill me, you know, then that whole situation's gonna stop. In particular, you, little black magey friend, down here, you were made of mist. Your kind were made of mist. You kill me, huh? Mist stops. That's the end of your species. How do you feel about that, huh? So now Vivi has to deal with the concept of genocide. Look away to play Animal Crossing and come back to another Digimon. It's sort of. No genes. Yeah, he's having a rough time. Vivi has to deal with the concept not only of genocide, but of the potential genocide of his own species. Well, not genocide, but like forced sterilization? I don't know how to put it. You can't make any more. If you get rid of the mist, boom, no more. No more making. How old is Vivi? 9 months? Yeah, 9 months? No, mentally 9, somewhere between 6 months and a year. Likely to live to about a year. If they're the same, there might be a bit of a prototype, so they might be different. They're quite different in build to the rest of them, so they might be slightly different in that regard, but... yeah, they've been through a lot. And they need a hug. They just wanted to see a play. Desperately need a hug. However, Vivi does actually have a bit of resolve and says, no, I don't care about that. I've been to the factory, I've seen them, I saw them being made, and then immediately they were sent out to war to kill people. You know, I assume, I can't remember exactly what's said, but probably something along the lines of they became alive when they woke up, or whatever. So the making them from mist is not actually birthing them, necessarily. How do you say this not weird? But basically, if there's a way of stopping them just being used as tools in war, then that's got to be a good thing. Because that's what most of them are being used for. Simeon, can your hair behave ever? You look like that now, it's fine. No, never. Meanwhile, Betty's just along for the ride, really. She's like, hey, who are you? Get out of my tree. I'm supposed to look after this thing. He's like, I've been looking after this thing before your civilization was born. So yeah, we resolved to give it a little bit of a fight. To teach it some manners. We do what we do best in these games, which is fight things. Or do we? Interesting thing, I believe it says, before we fight, it says, I have seen the end of my 1,000-year life, or whatever it is, and it is not now. And then you kill it. So I guess it is now. You fool. But yes, so, a thing to bear in mind. Up until now, we have been traveling down this thing, fighting monsters. The ones at the top were made of like petrified tree roots, and you could use softs to sort of immediately dissolve them, as it were. But all the way riding down, we've been fighting zombies and zombie dragons and all these sorts of things. And further up, we picked up a little gift that was just sort of left on the floor. It was an elixir, something that heals all of your health in one go. Very nice indeed. So, turns out, something I didn't know, this big old tree monster here, what's made of tree and wood and leaves and all that sort of stuff, really doesn't like you using fire on it. It will react to using fire on you, and it really hurts. So the intuitive thing of, hey, use fire on the tree, bad, real bad. However, it might be a zomble. Oh no, it might be undead. Like everything else in this place. Something I sure as hell didn't work out. And you know what happens with undead? If you try and heal them, they get hurt. And you know what happens with an elixir? If you use it, it heals all of your health. So if you just use the elixir that you just picked up in this room where the boss is, and just throw it at him, throw it at his face, it'll heal all of his health. But healing is damage, so it just kills him instantly. Set him on fire every single time and never learned your lesson. Yeah, it just turns out, just throw the elixir, you're done. And then it just dies. And, lo and behold... No, don't behold that. Lo and behold... Kind of bugged us up, didn't I? Lo and behold, as we do so, the mist recedes, gets sucked into all the roots, and it's no longer misty anymore. The mist has been eradicated. Bad news for everybody flying an airship back on the Mist Continent, but good news. We've destroyed the source of monsters. Just incidentally, while we were here looking for Mr. Swan. I guess. Hold and below. What? In your mind, this tree always makes you go, that bastard. Because of the counterattack. So yes, we've gotten rid of the mist. Now, was Mr. Swan something to do with the mist? Was he something to do with this tree? Was he something to do with the big old harp at the bottom? What was the actual point of this tree? Because apparently it wasn't the mist was a side effect. Like, we didn't really learn anything. We came here to try and work out something to do with Mr. Swan, and we ended up just stopping all of the mist. JRPGs, everybody. But as we get out, and we're like, oh, this is pretty cool. Maybe we should, like, hang around. Because if Mr. Swan's got anything to do with this tree, he's probably not going to be happy that the mist is now gone. If that was the point of this thing. So if we stick around, maybe he'll turn up. Right? That's the idea. Good, we got nothing. Thanks, game. There's a lot of maybes at this point of the story. A lot of our characters just going, oh, that might be a thing we could do. I don't know why I'm drawing more roots on this cauliflower. But while we're waiting, a Moogle runs up. There they are. Flying up. From full speed. Nobody knows anything except when it's time to traumatize Vivi. Exactly. Like, you should always bear in mind with these draw-throughs, there's probably a lot of I'm leaving out. A lot of stuff that I've just forgotten. A lot of dialogue, good conversations with characters, properly expounding on what's going on. That is just not in my brain. However, I will be the first to admit we have now basically gotten past the point where the story was really good. So, there's cool stuff to come, don't get me wrong. But we're definitely on the downward slope at this point. We're not precipitous yet, but we're getting there. So yes, a Moogle comes running up, and they're from Madain Sari. They're from the village with all the Moogles, unsurprisingly. And they go, "Oh my God, Betty, you got to come back! Someone's stolen the jewel." There's a jewel? What? Fine, okay. And she's like, right, I'm going back to the village. You guys, you stay here and look for the swan or whatever it is you're looking for. I'm gonna go back to my village. And we're like, well, he's not here yet, so we might as well follow. You know, you helped us with the barrier. We'll help you with your jewel, I guess. So we run all the way back to the village. And we run back to discover an empty box in a little cubby hole underneath the kitchen. Where the precious jewel that has been apparently handed down generation after generation, as far as Betty knows, she's 6, the precious jewel has vanished. It has been stolen. And she's like, oh God, this is my fault. This is because I left the village, wasn't it? It's because I broke the seal. I wasn't supposed to do this, and now I'm being punished. Oh no. Bad times indeed. Does she wear a bow? Now that I think about it, she's got a ribbon on her somewhere, right? Or is that what the ears are? Is that a ribbon? No, there is. It's alright, I'm just thinking about things. Gonna put a bow here, behind. Specifically a sort of ribbon bow. Not for any particularly important reasons, but nonetheless. Just the thing I remembered is probably a thing. She has a bow, not really fake ears. No, they're fake ears. She's got fake wings, she's gonna have fake ears. Really, I want to look up. I know this is against the rules. Oh, it is a bow. It really looks like fake ears, though. Anyway, they're fake ears now. Also, the design of that bow does not make sense for the story beat that it comes from. Anyway, we'll get to that. Should be matching, gosh darn it. Yeah, the fake ears makes sense. You're gonna have fake wings, you're gonna have fake ears. Simple as. This is just in a little room with a window behind it. It's quite a nice little room, actually. Got all like bric-a-brac on shelves and... Don't know how she reaches any of it, but probably the Moogles help. Hey, Fever. Hi. Sorry. Yee. So this is bad and she's sad. And what does she do when she's sad? Or what does she do when she thinks she's done something wrong? She goes to the Eidolon wall and does a little pray to her ancestors. So she runs off and does that. And we're all standing around like, Simeon and Butterknife and Vivi, and to a much lesser extent Quimch, are standing around going, oh, we kind of feel bad that this happened because we dragged her away from this place, but ultimately it's not her fault. She needs to, hopefully, we'll try and help her see that this isn't her fault. Somebody just came here and stole it. You know, she could have been just not in this room when it happened. You know, the fact that she was miles away is irrelevant. Maybe, possibly. We didn't do it, right? While we're considering this, a Moogle runs in and goes, she's been kidnapped! So we return. Panic! There it is. We return to the Eidolon wall. Who's been kidnapped? Betty! You're not here anymore. Where there's like a pile of rubble here for the sake of staging. Sure, indeed. And we discover that Betty is being not kidnapped so much as being held hostage. Why is this child with us again? They helped us get into the Aoife Tree, which we really needed to do, apparently. Also, she's alone and she's 6 years old. Does that mean we technically kidnapped her first? She came along perfectly willingly with us. That's not kidnapping. Well, it's kind of, I guess. She doesn't really have a guardian, so it's kind of difficult to tell. I think kidnapping is defined by the guardian, right? Well, she kind of has a guardian. We'll get to that. But who? Who is it? Who is holding her hostage? And why? It's someone I don't know how to draw because I've forgotten. It's been a bit. Yeah, more she kidnapped us. Yeah. Held us hostage until we ate her fish meal. It is what we fought. The word kidnapped is used so often even for adults too, and it always gets you because, yeah, the word implies kid. You always need to mentally change it to abducted or something when it's about someone, not a kid, yay. Harold, was that the name? Cool, Harold. It's Harold, everyone. It's that bounty hunter person who was sent after us by, well, not sent after us, sent after the pendant that the princess has that is technically royal property. The one with the big knife. Gonna shimmy off, have fun doodles, enjoy shimmying. Have a grand old time. So yeah, it's the bounty hunter who's after our jewel. And it's pretty obvious from her demeanor that she doesn't really want the kid. She's just using her as leverage to try and get us to give her the jewel. Harold, you remember exactly. Can't remember how I drew Harold before. Let's see if I can find it. There they are. Okay, they had like an eye and like a fluffy thing. Cool. Got it. So yeah, she's like, I've got the kid. Hand over the jewel and the kid won't get hurt. Hand over the pendant, rather, that she's got the jewel. She stole the jewel, by the way. That's also probably fairly obvious, but I should explicitly say it. She got the jewel. She stole the jewel from the box from the summoner place. Betty's jewel. Betty's grandmother's jewel. I can't remember exactly who owned it before. The family jewel, but she wants Butterknife's pendant because that's why she's here. And so we have to hand over the jewel to her, and it's like, oh god, that's the whole thing. Damn, we've got to save the kid. I believe she also, in the time it takes for us to realize that she's been, or to see into this place, to see, oh my god, she's been, she's being held hostage, to actually like equipping everything and getting everything ready and going in, she drugged Betty with sleeping weed to make her shut up. So, but she's fine immediately afterwards because she's a 6-year-old and nothing can stop a 6-year-old. But yes, anyway, so we do this and we're like, oh, okay, fine, we'll hand over the pendant, just don't hurt the 6-year-old. And just as we're about to hand over the pendant, she gets walloped aside. Boom. Thunk onto the floor. And Betty gets simultaneously thrown. A lot of sleep-weeding people in this. Yeah, exactly. Sleepweed is a MacGuffin of the day. Yeah, she gets flung across because who is it? Who is it who comes in to save the day? Do you remember this guy? He has a name. We've already given him a name, although I believe we gave him a name too early. But we would give him a name here, so it's not the end of the world. It's Knuckles from Sonic. The other bounty hunter who was hired to try and get the jewel from us. Why on earth is he knocking this bounty hunter aside? That seems a bit counterintuitive. Good old Knuckles from Sonic. With his massive, massive hands. Knuckles Van Sonic, exactly. Knuckles from Van Sonic. Good old Two Cocks. What? And lime skin. We talking about echidnas? I don't believe it's canonically understood what precisely what's going on in this character's trousers. And I think we'll keep it that way. Yes, but what do you have in your trousers? Knuckles. The scalene triangle. So yes, why is he jumping in and saving us all of a sudden? Well, turns out this guy has a sense of honor, sense of dignity. You don't kidnap a kid. And yes, we are technically being hired by the same person to do the same thing, but I'm sure as hell not working with someone who kidnaps kids. Get out of it. And so he like scares her off. It's like, screw you. It's called kidnapping. I'll never fly up here. Purposes of framing. He's here for another reason. Yes, he's been hired. He wants the thing. The Queen hired him to try and get back the pendant. The falcon hoof, what was it? Ravenclaw? Falconclaw. But as he said during his first encounter, he's got something more important that he wants to do first. And so he challenges Simeon to a one-on-one. Chivalry. Let's do this properly. Mano a mano. Or I guess, mano a mano literally means like hand to hand, not person to person or man to man. And it's not entirely accurate here because it's more like mano to two daggers duct taped together. Simeon and chivalry, really. He's like, I have no idea who you are. You're really weird. Sure, let's go along with this. Why not? Simeon takes this all in stride. Is like, yeah, you want this? Why not? Let's do it. You're weird. And so they have a little bit of a fight, little one-on-one. And Knuckles is with his big fists is sort of zipping around really, really quickly and jumping over things and coming in for jabs every now and then, and Simeon's just sort of standing there doing his normal pose and fighting normally. And as far as the story is concerned, eventually you win. Hooray. And thus, the accord of chivalric combat is struck. I said, sure, I'll do it. Why not? And he hands back both jewels. Well, he didn't have the first, but he didn't have the Falcon Claw. But he hands back the original jewel. Actual fist fighting Simeon would get demolished. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. He does not have. He's not a fisty boy. Him's a thief. He has daggers. He also have hands, apparently. Posing. But yes, one-on-one combat is had, and we win. Hooray! And Mr. Knuckles, over here. Or I guess we haven't specified Mr. Knuckles, over here. Fight always takes you a little while because you always got to steal from the bosses until they have nothing more to steal, and that includes fights as just Simeon as the fighter. Yes. So it takes you a while, and you also got to heal quite a lot because he keeps fighting even when you're stealing, and yeah. This pose is terrible. Ignore it. The fight's happening. He may also have back problems. And so, yeah, he hands back the thing, and everyone's like, cool, brilliant, well, that's that sorted, cheers. And he just stands there and goes, well, you gonna finish the job? And Simeon's like, what? He's like, you beat me. You beat me in single combat. You need to finish the job. You need to kill me. It's like, yeah, no, that's not happening, mate. It's like, no. You abide by the rules of one-on-one combat. I have been defeated. What is this? Some sort of weird mind games? No, you do the job. And Simeon's like, no mind games, just not gonna kill you. You wanted to fight, I won. We're all, you know, we're all happy. You got what you wanted, I got what I wanted. Let's part ways. Have a good time, see ya. And Knuckles is like, this is not how it works. Sounds like work, exactly, yeah. Simeon's like, oh, this is just additional work for me. Nah, you hop off, have a good time. And Knuckles is like, I don't understand you, you're weird. Simeon's like, same, bye. And Knuckles just sort of hops off into the distance. So everything's back to how it was 10 minutes ago. Only we've now met Knuckles properly, who is a bit weird. Oh, it is also noted, I forgot about this, it is also noted that Simeon does kind of recognize Knuckles. He doesn't remember meeting Knuckles, but does remember his face from Wanted posters in Trino. So this guy's clearly like got a bit of a background. Considering everyone we've met is Knuckles really that weird? Not particularly. Again, Quimch is here somewhere. Quimch is good weird. So yeah, and then he hops off, and then we're back to night. I'm presuming Harold leaves and does something else. Licks her wounds, I don't know. Quimch is always here, watching. Knuckles, if you challenged Quimch to a fight, they would have killed you for food reasons. No. You don't understand. You don't understand, Quimch. You don't kill things, then eat them. You just eat them. If you kill it, it's too late. You gotta eat it before. You gotta eat it fresh. You eat them fresh and whole. Still part of the fight, though. Absolutely, yes. Anyway, so everything's nice and great and grand, and we go back to the room here, and Betty's now happier because she's got the thing back, and she's gonna put it in the box, and then we're like, actually, it's probably not a good idea to keep it here now. People can come and steal it. And so she fashions them into little earrings and wears them so that she makes sure that they're nearby. The little jewels. And so she has little earrings on now. But we have a nice little conversation about thanking us about like, oh, you helped save it. I was like, okay, well, if we took the blame for these things being stolen, we can at least, realize that we helped get it back. What else happened? What happens there? Oh yeah, we have this little conversation. Well, it's mainly Simeon and Betty having this conversation. And then yes, sorry, there's a few things happen here, and I'm trying to get the order of them in my brain. And then Simeon leaves this little room and hears a song that he is familiar with. The song that he has heard the princess singing before. And he follows the sound of the song and finds his way down to a little boat in a little harbour underneath the Melodies of Life, is that what it's called? Nice. Yeah, a little boat sort of bobbing around in a harbour, and the princess is there. Princess Butterknife is there. Sorry, not the princess. Princess Butterknife. She's undercover. Um, Just impressed with Simeon's ability to have a full conversation with a 6-year-old. All of your conversations with 6-year-olds have been you nodding like you understand what they're saying. We had a couple over yesterday, actually. Or not. One of them was 6, one of them's, I guess, 11. And yeah, just they're in their own world. I've got no idea how to follow what they're doing. Yeah, good job, Simeon. Better communicator with children than me. So yeah, the princess is having a little bit of alone time singing her song, as she does when she's feeling down or just wants to think or having a thoughtful time. And Simeon, being Simeon, makes it his business and comes and joins. And they have a little bit of a chat while the waves roll in the distance. She takes off her disguise because it's really not working. It has yet to fool anyone. So far, that's his only skill. And single combat. He's at least better than Knuckles at that. So. It's because they have the same mental age. No, Simeon has the mental age plus flirting. Well, like proper flirting, not like unsuccessful flirting, but actually maybe he is a 6-year-old. But anyway, they have a little bit of a chat. And one of the things they chat about is why Simeon's here. Which is a question that I'm sure Jibby's been asking for the past 10 weeks. Just in general. Pretty much. All the things that have happened, certainly after Lindblom, why has Simeon gotten himself involved? The only thing Simeon had to do was kidnap the princess. That's it. Everything else has been just he just decided to do. And he's like, yeah, why did you follow me? Why did you follow me doing all these things? Why did you follow me going to the 6 or 7 different places that I ran away from? Why have you followed me to coming out here? Yeah, the princess kidnapped herself. Yeah, Simeon hasn't really been successful in anything. Except single combat, which I'm imagining Knuckles is really sore about. He lost to Simeon. But yeah, she says, why did you follow me? And Simeon goes on another one of his stories. This time, a pre-existing story, a written one, about a character called Ibsen, or I guess you could rename them, or that doesn't. Well, actually, no. Give me a name of a character. I will not change the name of the other character because it's Colin, and that's funny. We won't meet these characters, but I feel like you should name one of them. So this is just a character from literature, a character from lore. And a traveller, not necessarily an adventurer. That's just embarrassing, Knuckles. Don't rub it in. He's already licking his wounds. Flashback? Tiffany flashback. Okay, so this is the tale, or a tale, from the journeys of Tiffany Flashback. Flash for short. And oh boy, you're gonna love the moral of this one. So Tiffany Flashback was away from home, exploring the world, and gets a message that their homeland is in danger. And they're absolutely bloody ages away, and there's no easy transport to get home. And they're like, oh god, I've got to up sticks, I've got to get home, I've got to... I've got to clear my throat and make my way back, and it's going to be a dangerous and horrible journey. And their friend Colin's like, cool, let's go. And they battle their way through monsters and typhoons and hurricanes and sandstorms and all these horrible things, and the adventures go on, and they're all in the stories and whatever. But at the end of it, when they finally make it there, Tiffany turns around to Colin and says, why did you follow me? And all this time we've been doing this, why did you follow me? And his response is, because I wanted to. And that's the story. Hope you all enjoyed. There's the story, because he wanted to. Definitely worth naming them for. It's definitely worth naming Tiffany Flashback. In fact, I'll actually write it down. But yeah, I think the idea is it's supposed to be sort of vaguely romantic, of like Simeon sort of saying, I have no particular personal stakes in this, I wanted to follow you because I wanted to follow you. I wanted to be with you, basically. But just the way the story comes out, it really just falls on its face. He's a really bad storyteller. Yeah, we should have called him, this could have been an email. And while this story is happening, the boat sort of drifts out of the harbour and sort of floats along the water a little bit as they're chatting. So we get a nice little view of the ruins of the town above. Something up there, and it's got sort of ruined buildings and a bunch of ruins all coming down the side of the hill. It's a relatively big place. Not a village, but it's got a lot of buildings. And there's like the little sort of port we just came out of with Betty's house on top of it. And there's Quimpch fishing. Yeah, it's just the two of them. They're just sort of floating off, having a little...
That wasn't necessary of you, but you have my thanks.
Thank you. That wasn't necessary of you, but you have my thanks. It's telling the story while everyone's there. No, it's just the two of them. These two are just in a boat. Everybody else is on land. Presumably doing something more useful. However, looking up at this lovely view, what we have, Butterknife has a bit of a think. And sort of stares at the view. Like, And she stares a little bit more. She sort of closes her eyes and is like, this feels familiar. If I can line this up properly. just a think, that'll be a first. Speaking of first, yeah, sort of close enough. Do you remember the very first thing I drew in the very first stream? About a dream that the princess was having of a great storm. He doesn't row, exactly. Last two draw-throughs have started the same. There's a huge storm and a raft splashing against the rocks and all that sort of stuff. Splashing, smashing. By rocks I mean waves. And she now remembers, thinking back to the storm, this was the backdrop. She saw this place. This was in the memory, in the dream. And she forgot about it. And also, so was a giant eyeball in the sky. Funny how you forget these things. She forgot about the giant eyeball in the sky. I know! Who forgets about the first giant eyeball in the sky? Everybody remembers where they were when they saw the first giant eyeball in the sky. And she was in the middle of a great big storm. She was very young. She was very small. She was this. She was this. This was her. And at this memory, at this realization that this horrible dream of storms and rafts and so on and so forth was actually a memory, and it was a memory of this place in particular, and there was a giant eyeball in the sky when it was happening, she faints in the boat. Although that might have something to do with Simeon's storytelling, nobody's quite sure. So happy from Simeon's point of view, it's just they went to come along this time, you have nothing to gain here. Well, that reminds me of did keep the original one, yeah, cool. Nice. Well, and on that note, it's probably a good place to stop. Cruise swing. Oh, just as the music ended, nice. I'd also like to point out at this point, we haven't really heard from, like, James, or Knox, or Jesse. Don't know what's going on with them. Hope they're well. Oh, hey, look, Vivi. Thank you for streaming. Thank you for being here. Hope you enjoy. Princess has fainted. All's well. Who knows? This game certainly doesn't. I was rather hoping to get to the next thing that's going to happen, but no, it's fine. Plenty of opportunities to. I think we might be at the end, almost at the end of this disc. Might be almost at the end of disc 2. So probably next time we're going to finish disc 2. It's disc 2 of 4, but the 4th disc is usually just, I think, just the last area of the game, so... I guess we're almost 2/3 of the way? Yeah. Yeah, I thought we might be able to finish it today, but... I guess I should probably draw a bunch of things for that, so let's not try and rush it for today. Gotta rest my hand and all that. Vivi's gonna get traumatized again. Everyone give Vivi a hug. Hug Viv. Almost to the point that is your nemesis. Yeah. It's fine, don't worry about it. I mean, obviously in the draw-through, we're just going to gloss over it. Or I could get a save file at that point and play it on stream. No, let's not do that. Try and get over this wall during the week, so hopefully you can refresh your memory. Ooh, exciting. Now all the trauma. No trauma. Just look at Carbuncle. They're cute. And for anybody not in the Discord.
This crate is blocking the door.
That's a long link. Look at that. My word. But I posted it, so it's fine. Look at it on screen. It's clipping into the title. This link is blocking the door. Oh dear. Anyway. Thank you for being here. Doodle-doo. Look at them go. They're plodding along. Blop, 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 blop. That was always the weird thing about Final Fantasy IX. It's like, Final Fantasy IX! Here are the 8 characters. It's like, oh, you're one off, come on. Final Fantasy 8 had 6, 7 had 9, 6 had like 24, 5 had 4, 4 had like 16. No Final Fantasy has had the number of characters in its name. Oh, the Nox looks like she's power walking. As well she should be, she's a determined one. Also, I guess this is minor, this GIF is minor spoilers that, hey, Knuckles is coming along for the ride. That'll happen early next time. Quimch is the essence of blub, blub, blub. Blub, 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 blub. It's a good GIF. And I think they got Vivi's sense of balance perfectly. Just like, one thing I really probably haven't explained in this is that I'd say probably Vivi has a 10% chance of any reasonable distance they walk along of just falling flat on their face. They trip over constantly. Vivi is a very clumsy little boy. He's just always tripping over his own feet. No, like people didn't see that coming. They might not have. They have the same text modifier you have. Oh no! Give Kira a hug as well. My hay fever throat. But anywho, apologies for all of the throat clearing and sniffing and there. It's almost September. Come on. Can't have hay fever in September. What is this? Breathe. Need to do proper sort of vocal exercises and warm-ups to try and clear the throat and all the airways before I stream. I don't give myself enough time anymore. I cut it really fine as to when I start streams, which is why I'm starting them late. Hay fever never stops. No, it doesn't. Terrible. Anyway, speaking of things never stopping, we are going to continue streaming constantly, all day, every day for the next 43 years. Alternatively, I will stream tomorrow morning. I'm going to do some doodles, probably carry on doodling Pero Amira's house, which we started doodling last time, and I think it'll turn into a nice picture, hopefully. And then tomorrow evening, we have the Chibi Nethers Day. I, for one, do not know what's going to be happening during that. It's the Chibi Nethers Day. Because, yeah, are we just going to leap straight into Falls AU? Or are we going to carry on with the game? I mean, I finished Fahrenheit, so I freed myself of my bad game. Cheap doesn't know. We don't know. It's a mystery stream. Exciting. An attempt is going to be something's going to happen. It's going to be fun. Whether whether it's going to be fun in the way that the person who made the thing intended or not is a different matter. But at least want to do one more ep. We want to see more Louis. Louis is the bomb. And because I'm English, that sounded literal. Can't do the American slang. Louis is the bomb. What bomb? What's going to explode? No, I mean, like, positive. Keep hoping something will happen. Oh, things are always happening, Jeep. None of them are relevant or lasting, but they're happening. That was a terrible game. Tales is a bad game with potential to be good. Yes. Yeah, I'm not doing a Fool's AU of Fahrenheit anytime soon. A Fool's AU of Fahrenheit would take the first 2 scenes and ignore the rest of the game. We might Fool's AU along the way. The real AU were the fools we made along the way. What? Have we ever explained the name Fool's AU to Bear? It's AU, obviously, but I called it Fool's AU because it's like AU is the chemical symbol for gold. It's like Fool's Gold. Anyway, it's just the thing I used to do. I used to do streams where we rewrote things. Haven't done one for a while, but Jeeb's gonna resuscitate that. You're waiting for the plot to be longer than 1 episode. Oh yeah, how short's this episode gonna be? We might have time at the end of the stream to just rewrite the whole thing. But yay! So I'll be back tomorrow morning. Then there'll be Chibi Nether's Day. Hi, Much. And then Saturday for some music in the morning. I think might be starting. We'll see how I feel, but we might start a new little musical project. You've been making notes. Yeah, exciting. Yeah. So Saturday music. AU can also stand for alternate universe. Yes, yeah, the AU part. It's a pun on AU, alternate universe, and AU, chemical symbol for gold. That's the pun, and the more I explain it, the funnier it gets. Yes, and Saturday, Solasta. Sunday, Doodle Times. Probably more sprites, that's a good time. Tuesday, I don't know. I'm looking through my list of games to play, and almost all of the games that I want to play on stream are longer than the 4 streams we have until October, so I'll work something out. But we'll see. Tuesday, Call of Cthulhu again. Call of Cthulhu is a different sort of bad.
Need a key.
We haven't. Thanks, Jack, for not appearing on that one. The one time we want you.
It won't open.
There we go. Oh dear. We were going to do a Fool's AU of Call of Cthulhu, but we never got around to it. I feel like that would just need a big rewrite, because I really like the idea of you are a detective solving things and there's also Cthulhu stuff around it, but the Cthulhu stuff around it isn't actually related to the solving of the mystery. That's just the backstory of the place you're in, and you're like, is my character actually experiencing these things or not? There's an idea there. The game completely forgets the idea though, much like Fahrenheit. One goddamn job. Do it. Maybe just do it now. We don't need to remember the plot of Call of Cthulhu. We'll do it at some point. It's fine. Honestly, it just feels like a story I would like to write. Like, not even Fool's AU. Just like, I'll make my own game. I'll make like a choose your own adventure game or something. Quill likes caves. Yeah, I added a bunch of facts, a bunch of Solasta and Final Fantasy facts. Got rid of some old ones, so that they had a chance of coming up, because there's like 100. Exciting music. Anyway, I've been babbling on. Yep, there's also one about Dragonborn food. There's a couple for Quill. I couldn't think of one for Mel. If you can think of one for Mel, let me know. Beth's got one. Nothing wrong with a good old waffle. Do you remember back when I used to start streaming? I used to waffle for like half an hour after streams. Like to do with spider climbing, standing on quill. Oh yeah. Another quill. Yeah, 2 quills. Yeah, the shortest path between 2 points is referred to as the crow flies, or alternatively as the Mel walks. Something along those lines would work. Anywho. Waffles and such. When you hear waffle, what do you think of? Because I feel like Britain's the only place where the answer would be potato waffles. Everyone else has Belgian waffles. I've never had a Belgian waffle. I want to have one at some point. Anyway, New Year's waffles. Is that a thing? Special kinds of waffles? Or is it just a thing you have on New Year's? You just have waffles, like pancakes on Shrove Tuesday. That always makes waffles for New Year's. Oh, that's nice. I will see if I can't get waffles for New Year. Well, I googled New Year's waffles, and one of the first things that came up was New Year's rolliches. So it's at the very least connected to the Dutch. You like potato waffles. Potato waffles are nice. That does your grandma. Might be a Dutch thing. The waffles you think of the waffles we have here, but they're different. Are American waffles different? They're different to Belgian waffles? Yeah, the problem is you need a waffle iron, and I don't have a waffle iron. They look nice. I'd make them, but anyone let me borrow a waffle iron? Close to the Belgian waffles? Probably, yeah. Just looks like a chunky pancake. That's what I assume it's like. Apparently there are differences between American waffles and Belgian waffles. But I'm not the expert to be talking about this. For that you need like Guy Fieri or someone. Only Belgian waffles you ever had you didn't really like because they were way too sugary. But it really depends. Okay, so yours, yeast gods. So your New Year waffles are different to Belgian waffles, which are different to American waffles, which are absolutely nothing like potato waffles. We're gonna get into a rabbit hole here. We're gonna get into like, what is bread? We're gonna get into that conversation again, aren't we? Only with waffles. We've also had it with pancakes as well. What is a pancake? Our bread's fine. Also think of the phrase waffling around. If you go and get waffles at a diner or something, then they're usually pretty thick. And you say that because you've never had good bread. One day I'm gonna visit, and I'm gonna eat your bread. And I'm gonna go, ew, this is disgusting. Our awful bread's much better. Yeah, we're just not as picky. That's the thing. We make do. Look, the more crap bread we have, the more good bread you can have. Because we're not eating all the good bread. That's how that works, right? We're the trash pandas of Europe. Yep, we'll take that. Why not? I don't think anyone here is going to argue with that. But anywho, anywho, I'm gonna shut up now. Have a lovely time, everybody. A lot of food nowadays is food that's utter garbage, and the only reason you like it is because you ate it as a child and never knew better. Yay! Childhood food. It's the worst, but the best. There's a reason the rest of the world say we still eat like the war never ended. We're still in rationing mentally. What do you mean flavor? What is that? I'm gonna shut up. Have a lovely time, everybody. Have a great week. Yeah. Enjoy yourself. Give Vivi a hug. Give him a hug. He's there. Look at him. Give him a hug. He needs a hug. Do I make those facts too long to read in the time that they're on screen? I'm a quick reader and I can never judge these things. Give your Vivi plush a hug. Yes. And send me a waffle recipe and a waffle line. Anyway, have a lovely time, everybody. Look after yourselves. Bye, King Vader. And bye you. Goodbye. Bye.